If you didn't know, companies like Intel and Microsoft have begun laying off an extreme amount of employees. Microsoft laid off 9,000 employees, while Intel plans to lay off 10,000 employees, already laying off 4,000 employees as of this week. But of course, that is in the tech field, which especially if you're here in 2025, it should be a given that you will be laid off if you work in any kind of tech field at least one time. But of course, let's not waste your time anymore. Let's go ahead and get on to the first TikTok.
So I have this friend that got laid off today from his tech job, and he was obviously understandably upset about this. He was like, I can't believe the company did this to me. I can't believe this happened. And here's what I told him. This is a baptism in working in tech, okay? You are not a true tech worker until you've been laid off at least once. It's to the point where if you haven't been laid off, I can't trust you, okay? And does this mean it's fun? No.
Absolutely
Baptisms aren't fun. Have you seen the babies get baptized? They hate it. They're like, why are you doing this? What are you doing to me? Are you melting my head? That's what getting laid off is. It's just your entry into tech. It's a welcome to the suck. All right? So I know a lot of you are thinking, well, Mike, I've been laid off 3 or 4 times. Congrats. Okay? You're one holy person. Like, every time that you get laid off, in that like severance conversation, you should be going, blessed. That's what you should be saying to your former employer.
Now, I don't agree with the fact that you should be feeling blessed for being laid off for any kind of tech job, but I do think it's just one of the most unfortunate facts that if you do work tech jobs, like I said in the intro, eventually you will be laid off. We have some commenters here saying, mass layoffs are illegal in many other countries, except as a last resort. It was illegal in the US before Reagan's presidency. It was a breaking of the social contract. Tech used to be above this. I am 67. I've been writing software for 36 years. Never been out of work for more than 2 months. Some of us get lucky. It's been rocky, but I am ready to retire. Tired of this suck. And lastly, 3 times in 4.5 years, drowning from the baptisms. And it's especially unfortunate, especially considering the fact that tech jobs are some of the most important jobs in our society, especially since technology is our future. But as more and more automation comes out, companies are finding ways to avoid hiring unnecessary workers to make more profit in the long run. Automations like, let's say, AI. And it's not even like AI is in its most advanced state. It's still relatively really early on in its development. So is this company's ignoring real workers for AI's negligence? Or is it just a push to strive for the future at a sooner point? Regardless, it has a lot of us here in the real world, somebody who is not a tech billionaire, to really worry about what is the future of the job market. First of all, it'll start off with tech jobs. Well, realistically speaking, first it will start off with fast food joints, and as you've already seen, nowadays you actually get like AI and like computer robots to actually cook the food. I don't know if I have any examples, but I go ahead and put one up on screen right now if I could find it.
Pump up the jam, pump it up while your feet are.
But then it would be the tech field. Or at least you would need somebody to watch over the tech market, right? And then it'd be the tech field, or I guess, well, you would need at least one person to manage these AIs, but that's one person per job. I mean, really, it's not that difficult. And even doctors' lives are kind of being put at risk now with AI. Let's say we get so advanced to the point where an AI could literally scan your entire body and tell you what's specifically wrong with you. That's a scary day. And I believe now recently, the very first AI or robot heart surgery has been performed and has been successful. Yeah, man, it's scary times for us out there.
So I just got laid off from Microsoft. This is certainly not like the kind of content I ever intended to post on here. I just made this account for like my Twitch and gaming content, but I figured I'd talk about it because I don't know what else to do right now. I literally just got an email last Wednesday saying my position was to be terminated immediately and I was to stop doing the work that I was doing. And I think the thing that pisses me off the most about this is I moved across the country for this job, right?
That actually
moved literally
sucks.
from the East Coast of the U.S. to the West Coast.
That's the worst part about
45
tech is sometimes they ask you to move because all of a sudden, ever since the pandemic, remote jobs aren't worth it, aren't
here for
needed.
7 months. It hasn't been a full
know.
year. That feels like huge business oversight, right? To like say, oh, we need the budget for this person, we have the budget to hire this person, and then 7 months later be like, oh, we can't afford them anymore, it's too much money. And I still get like 2 to 3 months of severance pay, so that's nice at least. And I was told it wasn't performance based, but like I had special clearance access on my team, so I'm the only person that could do like some of the work I was working on. And you know, I was told it was like high priority. I guess nobody can do that work now. There's a deadline coming up in like 2 months, but like how, like, there was no reasoning behind it. And even like my boss was fired, and I talked to like my boss's boss. He doesn't have a reason for why I was like, there's no reasoning. Nobody knows. It's crazy. And I've only worked here for 7 months. Why the fuck did they hire me in the first place? I mean, I guess I just start looking for other jobs now. And maybe try to continue with the Twitch stuff or whatever. See how that goes. But just kind of like venting a bit, I guess. I don't know. I'm just kind of pissed off that this job made me move across the country and they only kept me around for 7 months. I don't know, it feels a little messed up.
And the worst part is, this is a Fortune 500 company. This is a huge company that's worth multiple millions, if not billions. I actually don't know what Microsoft is actually worth, right? But you could go work at a startup company and it has the potential to boom or bust. And most of the time, startup companies do bust. So if you go try to work at some place where you have more leverage, more power, a smaller company, a more family company, I guess is probably what you'd say, that doesn't guarantee that you would work there for years and years and years. And if you work at a Fortune 500 company like this dude did, there's no guarantee that you won't move literally across the state just for this one specific job, just to get fired 7 months later. Now you're in a city where you hardly know anybody, where you just barely moved in, and now you either have the choice to move back to where you once were or try to stick it out in the city that you live in currently. I mean, these companies have to wake up and realize that they're playing with people's lives. Stuff like this is a complete life changer, you know? And I'm not saying that companies have to keep their worst employees and have to guarantee job security. I'm just saying they have to at least acknowledge when they are about to overspend that, hey, maybe let's not overspend to the max. Let's at least have a little bit of cushion. So that way, if anything was to fail, like is going on with Microsoft apparently, then we can at least keep a majority of our employees and not lay off over 9,000 employees. A commenter says these companies have zero loyalty, no respect for workers. And it's funny because these companies would expect you to have loyalty to them when they have no loyalty to you. Meanwhile, Microsoft's CEO is making $80 million a year, which is crazy. And I understand that's a CEO, but if he is making $80 million a year and a person is making $100,000 a year, subtracting $1 million from that could hire 10 more people, which I know that's $1 million less from that dude's pocket, and nobody would want that, correct? But it's just kind of crazy when you put into perspective how big of a pay gap that this is, how they could afford a CEO, but they couldn't afford 9,000 workers.
Watch as I realize I'm getting laid off from Microsoft after 22 years.
Oh, poor guy, 22 years? That is such a long time to work at a company just to be laid off. Oh man, you gotta feel bad for the dude. Remember when staying at a company for 20 years guaranteed a pension? Remember when 20 years of loyalty meant something? Switch it up every 3 to 5 years is not worth this heartache. And I understand that feeling of switching it up every 3 to 5 years, and I would personally recommend that as well because, like I had said in the previous video that we reviewed, right? The companies expect the loyalty from you, but they don't give you that same loyalty back. So why would you put your entire eggs into one basket? If you can, I would recommend quiet quitting, but I am not saying, I will never say to quit your current job to go find another job. Always stay at your job right now, especially with this job market, with how hard it is to find a new job. Always stay at your current job until you know for certain that you're going to get hired at another job. I know I was talking about startup companies a little bit earlier, right? But if those companies do boom, now you're talking, that's all I'm saying. Because now you are one of the early people to have made that company boom to begin with. And so I guess you will have more loyalty to begin with. But I mean, even then, this person worked at Microsoft for 22 years and he got laid off. So, take that with a grain of salt. Oh man, and here I was trying to get into the tech field. I really don't know after this one.
Yep, I got laid off by Microsoft. You might have heard it on the news. Microsoft lays off 7,000 people. I'm one of them. Alright, so boom. It's a regular Tuesday morning. I wake up, do what I need to do, open up my laptop. Now, I open up my laptop and I see a meeting with my manager and my skip manager. I'm like, alright, cool. I get in this meeting. My manager says, "We're so sorry." What you sorry about? What's going on? Come to find out, your boy just been laid off. Not just me, but my entire team.
The entire team?
Just gone, like boom. Now, of course, hearing this news, I was shocked, but I was kind of happy. To be honest, in my head, what was going on was like, so I don't have to work today? Thank God, I'm going back to bed. But then it hit me
I mean,
for real.
it's
Like,
fun for the
oh,
first day.
shoot.
Yeah.
I just got laid off.
Now you gotta
And
find
I
another
had
job.
literally seen the headline saying Microsoft is laying people off. I'm like, it couldn't be me. It couldn't possibly. Because I've been working my ass off. Like, I'm telling you, hours. And I've been doing great, too.
But see, the
forgot one
performance
thing.
never matters.
These corporations don't care. Michael
Exactly.
Jackson said it best. All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. Crazy time we living in. Anyways, for anyone who's going through a layoff right now, all I gotta say is keep your head up, you know? Especially if you were part of the Microsoft ones, just know it's not you, really. Personally, for where I am in life right now, I ain't even mad. I'm 25. I have so much life ahead of me. And I'm really trying to do some big things. And will. So when I heard about the layoff and I really registered it, I'm like, hey, I mean, this is the best of both worlds. I was gonna leave anyways, might as well, do it in this fashion. This is really a redirection, a chance for me to, create a new path, go forward, do something that I really love doing. To be honest, this is just the beginning. I'm excited. And for those that want to know, I was a product manager at Microsoft. Cybersecurity,
Product manager.
AI.
I don't know, man. His roles are pretty important, and those are roles that a lot of people would kill to have. So the fact that he was so willing to be like, yeah, okay, I was gonna leave anyway. So I mean, I'm happy that he's really optimistic about the outcome. Could that be cope? Absolutely, right? Always take whatever you see with a grain of salt, because people want to make themselves out to be a better person, big above this, right? But I mean, if what he's saying is true, I have his full support. Yeah, I support him to the fullest. My bad. Worked at Microsoft for 6 years. After COVID, they offered severances. I stayed the first time, but when they offered it again, I felt something big was coming. I took it in 2021, shifted focus to my small business, and somehow ended up becoming a creator. Haven't had to work for anyone else since. Wishing you the absolute best on your journey. And so this is a success story of what this dude is trying to do. So if she could do it, I know damn well that he could do it.
Intel just admitted defeat to AI.
Their CEO said it's too late to catch up. Here's why this matters to you. Intel was once the king of computers.
Absolutely.
They had
I
a
used to have an
monopoly
Intel.
on CPUs for decades. Now, they're not even in the top 10 semiconductor companies anymore. The new CEO, Lip-Bu Tan, told employees across the world, "We are not in the top 10 semiconductor companies. If you use a computer, this affects
AMD.
you."
It's gotta
Here's
be
what
AMD.
happened. AMD took their
Exactly.
CPU market share. Nvidia dominates AI chips. Apple makes their own processors. Intel missed the AI boom completely. They're laying off thousands
That is
of workers.
true. I never really
Lost
saw any
$16 billion
AI stuff
in
being made
Q3
by
alone.
Intel.
Their own manufacturing can't keep up with competitors. The CEO says they're focusing on edge AI instead. That means AI processing on your device, not in the cloud. But is it too late? What do you think? Can Intel make a comeback with AI, or are they done? Share your thoughts below and follow for more tech news that impacts your daily life.
Okay, now I wanted to say this first of all, right? Even though I am super against layoffs, It is always in the best interest of a company to do so, especially if they can lay off all those people and still have the production be the same. For example, I believe it was Twitter who had laid off a majority of their staff, and X is still X, to be honest. I mean, it still runs the same, it still functions the same, it still gets its, updates once in a while. But I mean, really, when was the last time Twitter/X really changed massively like that? But who knows? The new Intel processors actually do look a little bit interesting. Intel's future will really depend on this new processor, in my opinion, and if they could really catch up to the whole AI revolution thing coming from such a delayed start.
Holy crap, what's going on at Intel? 21,000 workers are being laid off this
21,000?
week.
Okay,
And
so
this
I
is
had
in
my
addition
numbers
to
wrong.
the
I thought it was only
15,000
9,000.
people that were already cut last August. It's mass chaos at Intel right now, and it's all due to cost-cutting measures by a new CEO. And this is the architect, Lip Bhutan, who is the new CEO of Intel. He's only been there for a month, and he's already completely gutting the workforce. Now, he infamously had a major fallout in the board meetings last year. He's actually sat on the board of directors last year and had a major fallout. He was trying to get them to lean the workforce out at that point in time, and he ended up actually leaving the board. What ended up happening afterward is the previous CEO ended up reducing the workforce by 15,000 people back in August. Somehow he makes it back into the organization as a CEO. His first move is to eliminate 21,000 people. Now this comes at a time when companies like TSMC and NVIDIA, major chip manufacturers, are doubling down on their manufacturing capabilities. They've announced major investments in infrastructure. Intel has been struggling. They've been struggling to keep up, and this action obviously plays right in line with it. It's not just that, they're also divesting major business units, and this is just a sign of a company that has lost its identity and is clearly in crisis. And I think this has to do with adapting to the more modern AI world. Intel has clearly fallen behind their competitors, and I can only imagine how uncomfortable it must be for Intel workers to go into work today as layoff survivors. It's got to be pretty brutal.
Oh yeah, and they've definitely fallen behind a lot, especially in comparison to NVIDIA. And even NVIDIA right now, I believe they just released their very first laptop CPU. So now NVIDIA, not only do they have AI chips, now they are invading Intel space. And now, even though most computers actually have an AMD CPU, specifically laptops as well, right? Now Intel has another competitor, NVIDIA. And are those CPUs from NVIDIA good? I don't know specifically just yet, right? But we will find out. Although there is a pretty interesting comment right here that says they returned to their 2020 headcount of about 100K. Nothing's crazy. Now 100K is still a lot of people, and expected to return to before pandemic times, especially during the pandemic. As y'all know, technology boomed, social media boomed, anything revolving around technology definitely boomed. Even cities boomed in that instance, right? And what happens when something booms? Eventually it corrects itself, it adjusts. The only reason why NVIDIA is struggling so much not being in the market of AI is that at the current moment that we are right now, AI is uncapped as to how much money it can truly make. So investors are just throwing money out there because really, we don't know how much money it could make. We really won't know how much AI is worth until we, find out how good AI can get and how much people are willing to pay for that. But as it currently stands, people are throwing a shit ton of money at AI. So that's why that's why Intel is falling behind so much.
Hi Trey, how are you?
Hey Dylan, how you doing? I'm doing pretty good. I'm just staying busy. So yeah.
Nice. Definitely a busy time. I'm okay. Look Trey, I want to hop right into it. Some unfortunate news to share, but the firm has done some restructuring based on the current market, as well as the advancement of AI and different tools and technologies and just different areas the firm wants to focus on. It's forced us to eliminate your role here at the firm effective immediately. And I'm here to sort of, help answer any questions you might have about this people that can make connections to help you get back. Feel free to check out like AI apps and get like Prep AI as an example. You and I were chatting about that, right?
Yeah.
I apologize for the circumstance, and yeah, if you need anything from me, let me know.
Yeah.
So they really told him to look into AI while he's getting replaced by AI, which I think is so funny. But really quickly, before I get on to the point that I want to make with this video, I want to say how I think it's so ironic how you as the employee need to give the company a 2-week notice for them to be able to find your replacement and train them before you can leave, but companies can just fire you effective immediate. I know there's some, laws around that kind of stuff, right? But like, let's be honest, if they really wanted to lay off everybody, they probably could. But the reason why I found him saying that he should look into AI funny is because, well, now future employees are actually starting to look into those AIs to automatically submit their resumes to a ton of different applications. And now it's just a game of Tinder at that point. And so with the job market already being as bad as it is right now, with the people already not getting even their resume looked at, right? The fact that there's apps like this and AI tools to automatically submit your resume only further adds to the pile of resumes being submitted by these job forums. And when companies get a mass ton of job applications, what are they going to do? They're just not even going to look at any single one of them. They're going to maybe tighten up their AI, which is going to cause these apps to tighten up their AI even more, and more resumes coming in, meaning less people getting jobs unless if they hop on the AI apps. And it's just this huge cycle of just AI trying to outbid each other.
Here's like 2 coffee today.
That's
I
terrible.
thought it was going to be a conversation on the patient I did last week.
And that's what I was saying in the previous video. Why is it that we need to give 2-week notices? I mean, this is a call to empathy, right? This is a call to emotions. But, imagine yourself being really in a good mood for once, right? Maybe you actually genuinely enjoy the job that you're doing. Maybe you're not only doing your job just purely for the money, right? Or maybe recently you think that your job has been getting better and that you've been starting to understand it better. Now all of a sudden you're fired just like that. Really? Are you serious? Not even a 2-week notice? And one more video further cementing that point, especially with how life just continues to go on. That rent money isn't going to wait for you just because you got laid off. That rent money is going to keep asking and keep asking. And especially since most people don't actually have that deep of a savings account. Imagine you go months without a job and then all of a sudden you run out of funds in your savings account. Now you're on the streets. Do you know how hard it is for a homeless person to get off of the streets? Extremely difficult. I'm not saying impossible, but it is definitely a lot easier if you have an actual physical address that you can put in on your resume. But before I get any more upset, I think I'm going to leave the video off there. If you guys enjoyed the video, please don't forget to leave a like on the video and of course subscribe if you like this kind of content. But without further ado, I will see you guys whenever I upload. Bye bye.